InObscuria.
Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal, and we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should have beens. My name is Kevin Williams. That guy over there, right there.
Where?
That guy.
Right. Oh, here.
That guy is Robert Harrison.
That's me. Hello.
What's up this week, sir? What's up with you?
I woke up this morning and it was 34 degrees. Isn't that bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. It's supposed to be springtime, and it's that fake spring we get here because we had first fake spring last week. It was gorgeous, 75 degrees, and then you wake up, it's 34 degrees. So I was supposed to go outside and do some, little landscaping around the house, tidy things up a little bit, but it was cold. So I sat there and I watched the thermometer. I've got this 100-year-old thermometer that was my grandfather's, and I'm just watching it. So I had a cup of coffee, hanging out, messed around the internet, looked at it again. Okay, it's 40. Not yet. 45 degrees, about 11:30. I'm like, it's still a little cold. And right about 12:15, the magic number, boom, 50 degrees. I'm like, it's sunny and 50 degrees. I can be outside in this weather. This Florida man can survive frigid 50-degree and sunny temperatures.
Meanwhile, in the rest of America, everybody's freezing their asses off.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, there's people out there that want to kick my ass. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I've got the option to wait until 12:15 to go outside.
All of our Canadian listeners just threw their toques down and stomped on them.
Kristen, again, had waist-deep snow. The picture she was posting of her dog out there just sitting in the snow looking around. I'm like, nope.
How do you not lose your animal in that?
I know. It's the snow's white, and I think her dog's black, so that helps to be able to see it.
Yeah.
But so I got out and did landscaping all afternoon. It was glorious. It got a little warm, in fact. It was nice. I had an entire truckload of dirt that I was unloading. So that was my day. I unloaded a truck of dirt, and I was happy.
How very Alice in Chains of you.
Yes.
Oh, you see what I did there?
And guess what I got? I was very grungy.
Oh, see what you did there?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my favorite thing to do. Get out and get dirty.
Yeah, I was on a boat all last week.
Yeah, tell me about the... it wasn't the Monsters of Rock, was it? It was the Monsters of Mouse cruise.
It was the...
Was it a Disney?
No, we were on one of these huge Royal Caribbean boats. It was a family trip. The kids had spring break, and apparently a whole lot of kids had spring break because they were on this boat. And it was like a floating city, this thing. It was the Oasis of the Seas. It's not their biggest one, but it's not too far from the top.
Yeah.
And now they're building this thing called the Icon of the Seas. Have you seen these commercials or billboards or anything?
No.
They're building this.
If Kiss is not playing on that boat, I'm not getting on it.
Who? Who did you say? What? Oh, you're talking about Kiss.
Any version whatsoever.
There's your Kiss connection with a K.
First of many.
On a cruise with a K. Oh, that's 3
with
Ks.
Kids.
We can't do that.
With kids.
With kids. 4 Ks. We're
Kiss
okay with
kids
4
cruise. Wait a minute. No, that's bad. We're in the South. We can't say that. You are on a boat with your wife and kids for how many days?
7-day cruise.
7 days. And a tiny little... Now, is it one cabin with your whole family, or do you have like a bedroom?
No, we had 2.
2, okay.
Yeah, we were smart enough to get 2 cabins.
Okay,
and
so
we let the kids, they're at the age now, we're like, you guys would be just fine on your own.
We're going to lock you in there.
You can knock on our door when you want. We may or may not come to the door. But it was, it was fun, but I was getting used to the warm weather and sun.
Where'd y'all sail to?
So we did the Caribbean. It was St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and there was a Royal Caribbean island that they own called Coco Cay.
Okay.
Which I think they take every cruise there.
Yeah.
Because they make a whole lot of money because you get off the boat and you're still spending money paying.
Yeah, even though you pay for the cruise, now you got to pay for this and pay for that $20 drinks.
Yeah. But, got fat and got some sun and had to deal with the herd.
Yeah.
A lot of herding.
Yeah. A boat that big, every time that thing stops and you wait in line to go do this, wait in line to go do that.
We didn't follow the herd too much. We tried to stay away and do our own thing. And we got out and did some excursions on our own. I booked them on our own. Here's a little tip. Here's a little pro travel tip for you folks out there wanting to do the whole cruise thing. Don't book your excursions through the boat. Book them on your own. The same excursion that I went on where we did snorkeling, kayaking and hiking, there were 6 people, and it was very intimate and fun. It was just me and Noelle. The other 2 didn't go. It was just one daughter and me, and we had such a good time. The same tour booked by the boat had 30 people, and they were herding them around, and they were not getting the same experience that we got because it was just a looser, it was just more laid
30
back.
people in the water, the fish are like, you know what, screw you guys. We're going over to this other crowd that only has 6
And with 30
people,
you're going to have people that probably shouldn't be hiking and can't do certain things, and so therefore you don't get to do the cool things. In our little group of 6, the guy was like, it's kind of strenuous, but if you go up to that peak right there, it's an awesome view of St. John and St. Thomas and all that stuff. And we're like, yep, let's do it. Let's do it. And we did it. And it was awesome.
You don't have Bertha from Minnesota trying to slow the whole group down.
Complaining and slow. Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
I don't want to climb that mountain. It's hot.
I didn't know I was going to get wet when we snorkel.
You didn't tell me it's water on a cruise.
So there's a little pro tip for you. It was fine. It was good. But I came back and we're all in shorts and we're used to being in the warm weather now for a week, and we come back and it's raining and cold. And we're like, what the hell?
It's the screw you spring that we get here in Atlanta. But 2 weeks from now, it's going to be back to 70 degrees.
Exactly. Well, after we piss off everybody else that's dealing with the cold right now, go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Grown Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, Sean Geek and Fast Fret Podcast, State of Morca, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Podkiss, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retro Zest Podcast, The Synaptic Empire, and don't forget about Monty's Rockcast. My God, we just interviewed Monty.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
You still got a high from that?
Got a high. Either from the glue or from Monty. I'm not sure.
You don't know. We don't know.
Come visit us, InObscuria.com. Like us, share us, recommend us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I gotta tell you, I got inspired for this week's show directly from the weather.
Oh, not on the cruise, but the weather.
Not on the cruise.
Coming back from the cruise.
Coming back, exactly what I just said. I was like, what the hell? It's cold. And then I watched the news. I didn't watch any news. I didn't know what was going on in the world at all.
That's the best part about a cruise.
I was just
oblivious.
In my own little bubble out in the Caribbean. Didn't have a care in the world. And I come back and I watch the news and I'm like, damn, everywhere else in the United States of America right now sucks, except for where we live.
Yes, we are very fortunate, and I am not traveling anywhere for the time being until the rest of you guys thaw the hell out.
Man, the middle of the U.S. and the Northeast right now just getting snowed under. It's a whiteout. It's
and then West Coast
whiteout.
Flood city. No, there like 4 different people are building arcs out there.
Yeah, like the deserts are rainy now.
Yeah,
it's just mud.
They're getting asses kicked.
Yeah, everybody's getting hammered except for us.
Yeah, we're good,
and not in a good way. I'm getting hammered with a beer.
Yeah, you are. What do you? I can't even tell what it is from this side of the.
It's a Creature Comforts. It's a local brew.
Okay, it looks fancy.
It is very.
The rest of the stuff up there is too fancy for me.
It's a burpee beer.
Yeah, somebody left me a bunch of beer this weekend, and I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna have to wait for them to come back and explain it.
So I got inspired by the whiteout because that's what it's called. They literally you go outside, you can't see a thing. It's just white, and so it made me think back to we had an episode 126, and we had a glam metal whiteout episode. Do you remember this?
Yeah, sure.
And we played 7 bands that were in the glam metal genre who all had names starting with the word white. Mm-hmm. But none of them were the big hit makers.
No, not the Great
Snake,
White.
No Great White. No White Lion. We played other white bands.
White Tiger.
So it got me thinking about that. I'm like, you know what? It's time to take a deeper look into the world of 80s and 90s glam metal bands, because there were a ton of bands that were riding the train. They were following the trend, not only in look and sound, but even with the names of their band. So we're going to have a competition today. This competition is for the title of the band name. So the band name goes beyond whites in this episode. Tonight, we have episode 170, Beneath the Hair, Volume 7, Forgotten Glam Metal, Aquanet versus Bandanas.
Who's going to win?
Tonight, we're going to pit 2 bands, 2 songs that have very similar names. The band names are very similar. So we're going to say who has the right to own the name. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to give you an example. We're just going to jump into it so you understand what we're doing here.
Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated match. Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Get ready to rumble!
first band tonight. Their name is Roxx.
ROXX. 2 X's.
You gotta have 2 X's.
Okay.
So
now you're talking.
Surely there are not more than one Roxx out there.
Roxy Music.
Well, but that's not 2 X's.
That's right.
And that was a 70s band.
And 80s.
There are actually 4 bands with the name Roxx with 2 X's. Four in the Encyclopedia Metallium. Go look it up. It's a thing. There's a band from Miami named Roxx. There's a band from Indonesia named Roxx. Argentina and Canada. Of course, Canada has a Roxx.
So there's one per country.
It sounds like.
Okay.
But actually, I'm not playing any of those. The
really
band
deep.
Roxx that I'm playing is from New York City.
That's a different country.
It is a different country. And they were formed in the mid-'80s. They went on through the early 90s. They only ever self-released cassette tapes. They never got that big contract.
From the trunk of their car.
Exactly. At gigs, right? That's how you did it back in the day. You didn't make CDs because they weren't around then. It was very hard to get CDs pressed at that time. And albums also were very expensive. So people did cassette tapes. And that's what they did. They recorded demos. They got these tapes out. But they never got their big break. And in 2002, we've had this story so many times, a company called Paris Records got that demo tape and kind of packaged up all the demos that Roxx had, and they gave them a proper CD release in 2002. So we got the album Outlaws, Fools, and Thieves. Now, the actual recording is 1991 for this particular record that I'm going to play, this particular song that I'm going to play. So here is Roxx with 2 X's, Towing the Line.
That was solid. solid glam. It sounded great. Great recording. Even the songwriting was good. I mean, it's for glam rock,
they represent the genre well.
Absolutely.
And for 1991, unfortunately, right, it was just a little too late, but it was solid.
Absolutely solid. I mean, considering some of the stuff that established bands were putting out by 91.
True.
They had
those bands that had peaked already.
Trying to come up with the same old cliches. These guys sounded, hungry, and they should have been huge.
And they were. I'm sure they were hungry.
Yeah.
Because they just had cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Like, come on, somebody sign us.
Somebody.
It just didn't happen, but it's solid. And I'm glad that got released. I mean, I never would have known about them had Paris Records not done that. Now, who are we going to pit them against? Who gets to keep the name Roxx with 2 X's?
Well, the other band named Roxx, and I just tried to look up on Spotify, and it pulled up an entirely different band with 2 X's, ROXX. It didn't say where they're from or anything, but it was not the band that we just listened to.
Exactly. There's a lot of those out there. Yeah. But I'm not going to play a band that's just named Roxx, because around the same time these guys were out, there was a glam metal band from St. Petersburg, Florida called Roxx with 2 X's Gang. Roxx Gang. Mm-hmm. And they got signed to Virgin Records in 1987. They released their first album in 1988. That album is produced by Beau Hill, who did all the Rat stuff, Winger, Warrant. The guy was gold in those days. They had a couple of singles, a couple of videos. They sold pretty well, 250,000 records. Not bad. What is that award? Is that copper?
Brass?
I don't know.
Your album went brass. Unobtainium.
Not making fun of it. 250,000
That's
albums.
A lot of records.
That's a lot of records. I've never sold that many.
A lot
records.
more than I sold, yes.
Yeah. They didn't release their follow-up until 94. Their first album came out in 88.
Took a little time. Went on a cruise.
Probably not the best thing to do in that era, especially. But they basically had a lot of infighting with the members of the band as well as the record companies. So maybe Virgin wasn't the best company to work for at that point in time. I don't know. In the late 90s, they changed their name. They took our suggestion that we've given so many bands. Change your name.
Change your name.
Just change your name. Start over. Stay a band.
Yeah.
But just change your name. In the 90s, you had to. They changed their name to the Mojo Gurus and stayed the Mojo Gurus through the rest of the 90s.
That's more 90s.
It is. Yeah. I think they were still kind of playing the same thing. So, whatever. But they went back to the name. They've had versions of this band to this day still out there. They have a box set. Do you know what the box set is called? Their name is Roxx Gang with 2 X's. You know what the box set's called?
Tiny box.
Box with 2 X's. Oh, Roxx with 2 X's.
Box of rocks. Clever. Very clever.
All right. So we just heard from Roxx towing the line. We are pitting them versus Roxx Gang. This is No Easy Way Out from Things You've Never Done Before 1988.
I'm kind of speechless. I don't know. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but listening to that, I'd never heard that song before, but just listening to it, my mullet kind of started to grow a little bit quicker. I was thinking about an IROC Camaro. I've been looking at those online, and they're still relatively inexpensive. And I've got an empty space in my garage that there's not a car in one of those spaces, and it's just killing me that there's an empty space in my garage that a car could be there. So listening to this song, it just takes you back, because we've heard songs like this, and it reminds me just so quick. It is a warm blanket of Velveeta that just covers you and comforts you. It's like, no, life is good. But that had a lot of cheese in it.
Oh, of course.
A little bit more than the previous song. Yeah. Like they had a little bit of synth every once in a while. The chorus, that was a true chorus of singers singing in unison that you want to sing along with it. A simple enough chorus where you figured it out by the third or fourth time you heard it. So just, wow. I don't know if it's nostalgia or just all of a sudden I'm opening up more to this, because used to you would play stuff like this and it was just, I'm going to make fun of it. It's cheesy.
But you still like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be,
conflicted. Yes, I am.
Yeah. This was a Beau Hill production. I mean, it sounds like a Beau Hill production that you got on your Rat album, you got on Winger.
Once again, the production quality, excellent.
Yeah. That's why you had the synth. That's why you had the gang vocals.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all the tricks that he was throwing into those other bands as well. So we're pitting Roxx gang against Roxx.
Ooh, man.
Who gets to hold the title of Roxx with 2 X's?
Well, I think I just gave away my answer there. I had a more visceral reaction to the second one than the first one. I liked the first one. The second one, I think Beau put them over the top.
I think you're right. I can't go against a Beau Hill production.
No.
I mean, it's a fantastic sound. It's a great song. It's 1988 in a time capsule in a bottle. That is 1988, and it's great. So the winner is Roxx Gang.
Roxx Gang, yep. And that's on Spotify, by the way.
All right. I just can't get off the rocks. I'm sorry, I can't move on.
Can't get your rocks off? What?
I can't get my rocks off.
What did you just say?
Yep, can't get my... Whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to stick with another band here. We're starting a new pairing, a new...
new battle.
Yes.
Battle of Frisco. Fresh battle.
So brand new fresh battle here. But
just make that up.
But... they still have Roxx in their title, this particular band.
Okay.
With 2 X's. So we're going to play a band from Delaware, because all the good hair bands came from Delaware back in the day.
Cross that river, just like George Washington. He had a lot of hair. It was a wig, but he had some hair.
This band actually released 3 albums from 91 to 94, and they're from Delaware. I think that's pretty impressive. They were compared to Skid Row, Kick-Axe, who we mentioned with Steve Coldwell not long ago. We mentioned that Canadian band. They were compared to Firehouse. So... Skid Row, Kick-Axe, Firehouse. Not really similar sounding bands to me, but
I'm trying to come up with a common denominator between those three.
Sort of in the same genre, if you want to just throw glam metal in there. But this band is named Crystal Roxx.
Oh.
With 2 X's.
Is somebody in the band named Crystal?
No, that would have been good.
That would have been really good.
Been good, but no, that's not the case. I think the guitarist or the singer's name is Roxy.
It exudes Roxx.
Yeah. So not a lot of information other than what I just gave you.
That was it.
That was kind of it. Not a lot out there. They're from Delaware.
Yeah. They don't keep records in Delaware.
They don't have records. They don't scribe anything. So we're going to play Big City, not Big City Nights. That's Scorpions. This is Big City.
Just
no nights.
Done, period.
Big City from their album Pass the Buck, 1992. Here's Crystal Roxx.
She's more than a hot potato.
singer had just a little hit of Blackie Lawless going on. Just a touch of it. It was nice. It wasn't too much.
That's how you write a glam metal song.
That's how you, exactly. There's the recipe right there. Write it down.
So what'd you think? Is it one that you like? Or?
I like it, but if there's a competition...
It is a competition.
I got to hear the other one before I render judgment.
Who are we going to put Crystal Roxx up against? Well, we're going to put them against the Youngsters.
Ooh.
A band that's a newer sleaze metal, glam metal band from Vancouver, Canada. They were formed in 2001. So.
I don't picture Vancouver as being sleazy. That's not where I picture it. It seems like a nice town.
No.
I've never been there, but it seems cold and nice.
No, you got it wrong. It's sleazy.
Really? Okay.
Very sleazy.
Different part of Vancouver. The French side.
The other side sleazy. Of the tracks. Sleazy. So they've released 2 full-length albums. They're still active, although they haven't released anything since 2007. It takes them a little while to...
Don't rush them.
Get their shit together.
Do not rush them. It's art.
They're Canadian.
And they're Canadian.
They've got to take their time. This band's name is Crystal Pistol.
Wait a minute. Stop. Hang on. That's the name of the show at Six Flags. No, isn't that the show where you would go and they would...
I think it was.
Crystal Pistol.
Is. I don't know if it is or what.
I avoid places like Six Flags like the plague.
But these guys are from Canada, so they've never been to Six Flags over Georgia.
Yeah, well, they've got other Six Flags, but I don't know if they have this equivalent of the Crystal Pistol.
No, this is the band, Crystal Pistol. So we're putting Crystal Pistol up against Crystal Roxx.
They got an uphill just because of the name. They better work their ass off on this song. So
well, this song is called Line It Up.
was definitely sleazy. And that's interesting. Sleaze, glam rock, you tend to roll it all into one, but there was a great example of glam and then sleaze. And I'm torn.
I am too. I was actually having a really hard time going, who's the winner here? Who gets to keep the name Crystal in their band name?
No, Roxx.
No, this is Crystal.
Crystal meth and Crystal Roxx.
Crystal Roxx and Crystal Pistol.
That's right. How did I forget that? We just talked about it.
Yeah, you wonder.
3.5 minutes ago.
We wonder also why they haven't had an album since 2007. Maybe they lined it up a little too much.
God, okay, so you got production value versus just young upstart. Well, not that young, but...
Sleazy, this came out later.
Okay, I'm going to just, because of the name, Crystal Pistol, because it's just fun to say that.
You got to go with Crystal Pistol?
I got to go. I'm going to give it a Crystal Pistol.
Okay, well, we're going to go with Crystal Pistol then.
Yeah, let's do that.
So the winner of match number 2 is
Sleaze.
Crystal Pistol. The sleaze won over the glam.
Gotta say it without popping your peas.
One more final death match for you, and we could not do an episode of glam metal bands without having at least a pairing of dirties.
Dirties?
There were a lot of dirties in the day.
Is it like furries, but dirties?
Dirties. So a few years ago, I'm going to set this one up. A few years ago, Vinnie Vincent announced his coming out party in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't a coming out party. That's what I took it as. And I had a couple of visitors come from Nashville to stay with me at my house. That would be Decibel Geeks, Aaron Camaro, and Chris Sinzak. They came and stayed a night, and we went to the Vinnie Vincent expose, whatever that thing was that we went to, where a weird man wearing a woman's business suit and wig got up on stage and said a whole bunch of bullshit.
It was performance art.
I don't know what it was. But anyway.
He wouldn't have sold tickets if he would have said performance art, but he did anyway.
We attended that. But the day before, I took them out to Little 5 Points. Mm-hmm. Take them out, let them see Atlanta a little bit.
Talk about sleaze.
Got them a little boozed up. Yeah, exactly. Got them a little boozed up at the Vortex, ate some lunch, and then we hit Criminal Records. And so we were looking at CDs and albums, get some used stuff. And I found this album, obvious from the cover. This was a glam metal album. It didn't have the year on the back, so I wasn't sure when it came out. But the name was a band that I had never heard of. And I was like, well, surely Chris and Aaron will know who this is. They're the hard rock and metal guys. They had never heard of this band either. The name of the band is Dirty Blonde with an E at the end. Dirty Blonde.
Ah.
And I looked them up and didn't find a whole lot on them.
Yeah, you Google Dirty Blonde, you're going to get a lot of interesting photos.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff that you didn't want to look at. But I did finally find out they're a band from LA. They were formed in 1986. They had this one full-length release called Passion. That's what I found. And it was released in 1989. And it was released on a label that was like a kind of a, you could tell it was like a home label because the logo itself was like no major label would ever have this logo that they had for this company. It was called Outpost Entertainment Company.
Yeah, that was some dude in his basement.
Exactly. So I looked up Outpost Entertainment Company. This was a Beverly Hills, California-based label, and they only had about 5 artists, and they only put out albums from 1988 to 1991. So I guarantee you this was some kid who had some money because he lives in Beverly Hills at that period of time, and he put out these albums of these bands. The other main artist that they had Dirty Blonde, and they had some girl who looks like kind of like Tiffany, and her name is Boston Dawn.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
So if you want to go down the rabbit hole and check that out, it's pretty impressive.
Find out which mall she performed at.
But
Boston.
We're going to play Dirty Blonde because this is a
that's actually a good hair metal
It's a
name.
great, I can't believe it wasn't
Now
taken.
that you said that, I'm like, that's damn good.
Yeah, it's really good. So here's an LA band. They were in the right place, the right time, but it didn't happen for them. They were on Outpost Entertainment.
Outback Entertainment. In the backyard, in the pool house entertainment.
Hey, at least they got an album out. It is white vinyl too, which back in the day, you didn't get a lot of colored vinyl.
That's high class.
I got a like $2 album at Criminal Records with white vinyl. So there you go. So I'm going to play the song I Got the Itch from the album Passion.
She said push back, turn around, jump to the moon. She's a high class mama with a sugar daddy. Drives a slick black pop top, hot-tail caddy. She's got what I want, she's got what I need, yeah. She's got everything. Guaranteed. I got the money, honey, if you got the time. I got the reason, baby, if you got the rhyme. The place is yours, but this bedroom's mine. I got the itch, bitch, I got the itch. Mississippi, shake her with her high heel shoes. Rolling down, she just can't live.
Couldn't even afford a good fade out at the What the hell? You remember what I was saying a few minutes ago about that warm feeling of nostalgia that I'm like, forget that. Now we're right back to where I normally am on glam rock, where I just laugh at it. Like, what the hell?
That is the best glam metal song you've ever heard.
Oh my God. Now, it is my theme song for the entire season of winter when my skin gets itchy. But,
bitch.
I was laughing because it didn't finish. Like that's yours. This is mine. I got the itch, bitch. And I kept expecting one more phrase to rhyme with the other thing, and he just had to end it with "I got the itch, bitch." And on top of that, it's a complete and utter ripoff of this song. It's from that band Kiss! Your second Kiss connection. Heaven's on fire. Da 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 da. Heaven's on fire.
You're not wrong.
God.
Yeah. That was...
I'm glad you waited till later in the show.
Dirty Blonde was definitely borrowing from everything going on at the time. They put out the one album, and that's all we got, I believe.
$2 you paid for that, huh?
About $2.
37 cents a song.
It's such a time capsule, though. It is such 1989. It is exactly what was going on.
As soon as we start having warm, fuzzy feelings, you got to play that song and go, oh, no, that's right. This was also happening at the same time.
Well, let's be honest.
You can't cherry pick all the good stuff.
Let's be honest. The cheesier, the better for me. I celebrate all of it, and I love it. I'm rubbing Velveeta on my scrotum right now.
I mean, that's just, that's like Limburger. That's not even Velveeta.
Oh, well, we got to pit them against someone. Who could go up against the mighty Dirty Blonde? Now, most listeners are assuming that I'm going to be pitting them against New York's very own Dirty Lux, a band who I'm going to see on the Monsters of Rock cruise in about a month and a half. But no, I will be putting them up against Canada's very own Dirty Rhythm.
I thought you were going to say Dirty Laundry. No. There's got to be a band called Dirty Laundry.
I'm sure there is.
That's another good
But we're not playing them. We're playing Dirty Rhythm.
Dirty Rhythm.
Now, similar to Dirty Blonde, they only have a few releases, only 2 releases, one in 1991. The next one didn't come out until 2006.
It's kind of the same plane, though.
Yeah,
Same trajectory.
Exactly. So who will be the dirtiest of the dirties? I'm going to play the title track from their album, Hard as a Rock, that came out in 1991. This is,
of course,
Hard as a Rock.
really like that, but I'm pretty sure I like it because it was a complete and utter ripoff of Van Halen's House of Pain, which is one of my favorite Van Halen songs.
Which is one of their older tunes. Did you know that? That was
from
back.
Another one?
That was
from 84, which is still old.
They didn't record it until then.
But they had it in their repertoire.
It was one of those songs that they had prior to the first album.
Really? I didn't know. I love it. It's a heavy song for that synth album, but it's always my favorite. But anyway, back to this. That's one reason I love the song. You and I both were really getting on it, hard as a rock.
So is it possible that the drummer mixed that particular song?
I didn't hear the drums at all in it. Did you?
I could barely hear the kick drum.
Yeah.
But
no, he
oh my God.
He slipped the dude a 20. He's like, hey man, I want to hear the drums here. Just bump it up a little bit.
Faders up on
just
the kick drum.
Hey, look over there. It's a Goodyear blimp. Let me just move that up for you. But it was back. So comparing those two night and day, the first one was a good, raw, stupid song. Didn't have as many of the bells and whistles. But the one,
which is why I got the itch.
Yeah,
is the winner, right?
It's a tough call, but I got the itch was more painful to listen to because it was just bad. It was just really bad. And then you get back to the good bad, the good kind of bad, which was hard as a rock.
No, I'm with you.
Cheesy, a lot of cheese, but it had all the bells and whistles. The end, the bluesy end, dun 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 dun. Dun, dun.
How many bands in that era
resorted to that ending?
Especially live.
Yeah, live. I think, what was the worst?
It was a Poison ending. That was a total Poison ending.
I'm thinking Chainsaw Dude, local guy.
Oh, Jackal.
Yeah. He did like 4 endings in the same song because it was such a big hit. He had like another 45 seconds of ending. He
with
kept
the
tacking
chainsaw.
on different endings smashed into one. So
it's the Lumberjack.
The Lumberjack.
Yes.
Our local boy done well.
So you're saying to
Jesse
you
James Dupree. Sorry. Why did I had blanked on his name?
Yeah. You're saying to you the dirtiest of the dirty is Dirty Rhythm.
I'm going to give it a Dirty Rhythm because that guitar riff, even if it's not theirs, I still love it.
I love the most over-the-top, blatant cheese that is Dirty Blonde, but I also am going to go with Dirty Rhythm.
We're both hard as a rock then.
It made me hard as a rock as I was listening to it. It had that impact on me because the kick drum was just so thumping.
Because if I buy an iRock, I'm playing that
hard as a rock.
Every time I leave my house, that song's going to be blaring when I take the T-tops off.
All seriousness though, Dirty Rhythm, the players, the musicians,
they sound like ringers.
Fantastic. Like the bass, there were parts where the bass was just just going off. Very much schooled in the Van Halen school of how do you play diddlies?
Yes.
There were a lot of Van Halen references in that one song. So
which nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Especially if you can pull it off. And they pulled it off.
I can't, but if you can, that's cool.
They hammered it on too, but they also pulled it off.
Nice.
Oh, man. Well, that's what I got for you tonight. Wait a minute. Oh, shit. You know what? I just realized we typically do 7 songs when we do these shows, and we only did 6 because we're having.
We don't like even numbers. In design, you want odd numbers.
Well,
so a well-designed podcast will have an odd number of songs.
Well, I was looking at because I have the metrics running as I do this, and I realized that we have not met our dive bomb quota.
Oh.
We're
going to get kicked off our platform if we don't meet that quota.
Not going to work. So we need another dive bomb at least from a guitar. So I think we should probably bring in some help to end the show the right way. Maybe we can shed a little light on a band that's out there today, that's touring, that's doing this kind of music and making it fresh again. And
we just spent an hour and a half talking about how it used to be.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how it is right now.
Let's talk about the now.
The now.
Where are we now? So let's talk. All right, so we are here today was Sam Spade of the Midnight Devils. And I got to tell you real quick, Sam, before we bring you in, I actually heard of you guys. The YouTube algorithm was put to good use because I actually followed several of your posts over the last month of your last tour with Enough's Enough and Pretty Boy Floyd. I honestly don't know how the algorithm found me. I don't know what I was searching where it just, but all of a sudden you'll see something. I'll go, that looks interesting. There's a dude wearing makeup and looks like it's a power trio. I'm going to click on that little thumbnail and see what's going on. I clicked on it and dude, I was totally impressed because you are the commander of the club, as I like to call it. Robert and I were both in bands and we tried to play the role, or at least Robert tried to play the role of commander of the club as well, where you're like always like, get up, get towards the front. This is a party. You're not here to drink. You are here to drink, but you're here to stand in front of us and jump around and have fun. And every single YouTube that I clicked on, you're like rallying people, dude. So that's just really, really awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And it's like a pleasure for me to talk to you guys, and especially being musicians and kind of being a show about this style of music, this style that kind of gets overlooked. It isn't the forefront. But it's so much fun, and it's the greatest job I've ever had. I love everything about it. Like even on its worst days, being the lead singer of a rock and roll band isn't the worst job to have, And I love it. I love what goes into it, and I'm completely obsessed. And this search, I'm like Indiana Jones, and it just never ends. You guys know, like 20 years, you're still searching. Like, oh, I got to get another show. I got to do this. But I love it so much, and it's just become such a big part of my life.
So will part 2 be the Temple of Poon?
Jesus.
Oh,
just drop that right on them.
I did. Like I said, I love how you command the crowd. Even when I know that, because I've been in your place where you're like, we're the first band on, it's like we're warming people up. That's the whole point that we're here. But it's like, I don't care that you're here to see Enough's Enough. You're here to see me when I'm on stage. And you take that Gene Simmons approach of every show we play is Madison Square Garden. I get that vibe from you. I'm assuming that's your same mentality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I don't take it for granted. And every time that we get to go out and do this, no matter where it's at, and we're so blessed that we get to travel around the world and do it, but it's still like we're in the beginning stages of that. So it's still like, it's the hardest thing you can possibly do. And yeah, you're playing to 30 people as the first band or 50 people, but that people came there, and that the fact that we're new, we're exciting. It's something that's very reminiscent of the 80s, of the 70s, but it's new and it's electric, and nobody's really doing it right now. And I get excited. When I get excited, I want the crowd to be just as excited as I am. And I also take it a different way too. No matter who we're opening for, no matter who we're playing with, even if it's Enough's Enough, like our best friends, I want them to watch from the side of the stage and just go, damn, we got to follow that.
Exactly.
I really take that seriously, and I want them to say it every time. That was a good show. It's going to be hard to follow that up. Or like the crowd that, like the energy is so high, and then when the next band comes on, there's a dip in the energy, and I go, you know what? I planned it like that. Exactly like that.
Now on YouTube, I just finished watching your show in Missouri. Exactly what you're talking about there, where you went out and were just almost grabbing people and saying, no, get up closer to the stage. And I would cheat, and I would buy beer and set it on the front of the stage. I'm like, hey, free beer, but you got to come up front. And that, once you get the women up front,
it gets expensive.
Yeah, it gets expensive. Yeah, we never made money. But I could see your energy and your dedication to going out and grabbing that crowd. And I've got a lot of respect because we did that. We hated seeing bands just stand there and stare at the floor. We had just been through the 90s, and we were kind of coming out of that. So as you're touring and maybe some of these smaller towns, things like that, do you have some regiment that you kind of pump yourself up before the show? I mean, because Kevin mentioned Madison Square Garden, because we would joke about that. We're like, where are we playing tonight? We're playing, and we would say Madison Square Garden, even if we were playing a podunk bar with chicken wire. So what are your kind of what's your regiment to ramp up before that show?
It's really easy, and I'm such a kind of a guy, a creature of habit, I guess you will. And I think that's one of the things that makes it so I don't go crazy and go insane being the lead singer of this band, is that I try and do everything the same every time at every show. Now that changes depending on where you're at, but normally you guys know we'll drive 8 hours to a show, you'll set up, you'll barely have time to eat. And so like all these odds are stacked against you, but we normally get an hour of time before the show starts where we can all three of us sit down in the dressing room, put our makeup on, we're telling stories about what happened the night before, we're laughing, we're making fun of each other. And so there's this whole camaraderie in the dressing room. We're all sitting there right next to each other, together, and you can feel the energy from the next room. No matter who's there, no matter how many people are there, like, it's starting to build up. And the closer we get, the more makeup we put on, the more energy we're just kind of subconsciously putting off. And as soon as we walk out of that dressing room door, the jaws hit the ground. And that's exactly what we're going for, because no matter what, if you're out there in the crowd and you see 3 guys that look like space aliens walk out of the dressing room, you're going to stick around and watch the show. And then it's my job to get everybody out from sitting down up onto the dance floor. That is the job, the one job. People want to have fun. They came there to have fun. They just need a little encouragement, you know? And I'll say it like, we're not going to start playing until everybody's out of their chairs, which really we're going to start playing. But I tell them that. It's like, get up. Come on, come join the party. Jump in this thing. And 90% of the time it works. And if it doesn't work, my backup plan is that, okay, you're not going to get up. I'm going to come to you, and we're going to do this thing out in the middle of the bar. If that's what it's going to take, I'll come out there and sing the whole set in the middle of the bar. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I've used a wireless guitar for that specific reason, to run out in the crowd. And I remember running off stage, and there was a table of people talking, not paying attention to me, and that drove me crazy. So I ran out there and kicked this girl's chair and ran back up on stage. The rest of the show, they were eyeballing me. They weren't happy, but they were at least watching me. I'm like, damn it, I'm getting paid to entertain you. I'm going to do it whether you want me to or not. So things have changed a lot since I was in a band, in a touring band nonetheless. What are you guys touring these days? We had an old Ford E350 that was horrible, and I still own it to this day. But what are you guys touring now?
I love the E350s. Those are great. We have something very similar, but it's like an airport shuttle bus. So nice. It comes a little bit better. You get a stand up. You're able to stand up. There's 4 or 5 seats in it. We put all our gear in the back, and we just cruise. And it's brilliant, and it works, and it sucks on gas, and it's this giant thing. Parking is terrible, but it makes it just a little bit easier than in a normal van.
So
we've done it all. But with this bus that we have right now, we just bought it. We took it out on the first tour. We didn't even get taken on a test drive. In the first tour, we were meeting Pretty Boy Floyd in Houston, Texas, right? So we're like, oh man, we got this brand new bus. It's perfect. And we're driving overnight, and it's pretty cool. And the sun starts coming up and starts getting really hot. And I'm like, well, good thing we got a new bus. We got an air conditioner in it. And we flip the air on, and it just peters out. So we have to do that 2.5 weeks with the Midnight Devils and Pretty Boy Floyd crammed into one tour bus with no AC, just the windows. And it was one of the funnest tours we've ever had. I have so many great memories of it.
We had a similar problem where we used to argue if it was better with the windows up and the AC on, which didn't work that well, or roll the windows down. And we argued about it until I went and bought a thermometer and stuck it on the dashboard. I'm like, all right, we're going to settle this once and for all.
So for people who don't know, because we just kind of jumped in, but for people listening who don't know.
Did we even say the band's name?
We did, the Midnight Devils.
Okay.
So you guys are a glam slam, sleaze and pleasing rock and roll power trio out of Omaha and Chicago. Explain.
Yeah, our drummer, Jimmy Mess, extraordinary man that needs no introduction, the smell of luxury, as they call him. He is based out of Chicago, and that's kind of our connection to Enough's Enough, also a band based out of Chicago. Jimmy and Chip were friends. They were roommates, and that was really our connect to Chip. And we started doing shows with Enough's Enough, and it kind of ended up where Chip's like, I want to produce your record. And we're like, why would we not have you do this? This is a brilliant idea. So Sniper and I, Chris Heinlein, the guitar player, and I were based out of Omaha, out of Nebraska, and then Jimmy's based out of Chicago, kind of Midwest. So we either have to travel to pick him up, or he'll ride the train or the bus to come to Nebraska, and we'll always start our tours that way.
So what is everyone's background in music? Like, have you always been into glam metal? Is that just always been your thing, or have you done other projects? Because I hear a little, listening to the music, I hear a hint of power pop, I hear a hint of punk, especially in Stay in Your Lane and White Line Fever. It's got kind of a punk thing to it. What's your background?
Yeah, mine started when I was 18. I joined my first band as a guitar player in a punk rock band from my hometown, and we started touring. Right out of the gate, we started touring regionally. So I've been doing this for 20 years now. I turned 38 on Friday. 20 years as a touring musician, and that's like no small feat. And to do it without going crazy, and it's incredible. But we were a punk rock band, just a down and dirty 77 style punk rock band, and it was cool and it was fast, but I was still the glam rock guy in the punk band. Yep. I was still into Kiss as much as I was into the Ramones and the Misfits, and it kind of works, that glam aesthetic. For me to step into that role as the guitar player, it works really well, and it gave me this appreciation and this work ethic, I guess you could say. But the DIY, the way that the punk rockers do stuff, the way that we book tours, the way that we travel, the way we sleep, everything is it's nothing fancy. We can do it without having the help of a major major label, without having all this help from outside. We can do it on a nickel if we had to. And I think that's the coolest thing, is that Jimmy and I kind of came from the same thing. He was in a punk rock band. I was in a punk rock band when we were 18. And we kind of still have that attitude of, it doesn't matter if the show's at a venue or the church basement, it's still a show and we're still going to party and we're still going to have fun. And that I think that punk rock kind of ethos stuck with us. And the way that we book tours is the same way. Like if we're doing headlining tours, we'll reach out to all of our friends and places that, like, can we crash at your couch? What do we need to do? It's still there and it's still very much alive and kicking. So that punk rock background, I cherish and I hold dearly those memories. And I love telling those stories of traveling in the church van, you know, like the one you bought at the auction that still has like the church of whatever on the side. That's I think is cool. And you guys know only a few certain people have experienced that. And it's a very sacred and a very holy thing.
It is.
Ours had State of Georgia on the side of our van, and it was a handicapped transport van, so we had the lift on it.
Yeah, so here's a little thing that you might want to consider that came in very handy for us, no pun intended. Yes. We had a handicap lift on the back of the van. Just came that way. We loaded in all road cases. We put everything in road cases, and we loaded it into the van on the handicap lift.
Nice.
You could hold a beer.
You could hold a beer and load in.
All the other bands were jealous.
We have one. We have one on our bus. It just doesn't use it. Everybody's in such a hurry. They're like, get it in. We don't have time for the lift.
But it helps with your drunk friends too. But you don't have to just load them in that way.
All right. So I got to ask the question. So you guys wear makeup. So is it Kiss? Is it Crew? Or is it Japanese Visual K as the inspiration?
It's all three combined completely. Completely nailed it right on the nose. My first band, the band that changed my life, changed the direction I was going, was Kiss. And it was Ace Frehley and it was Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. And like I wasn't allowed to wear Kiss shirts at school because they thought it was the Knights in Satan's service. I love that stuff. And it just pushed me deeper and deeper into this music. And I felt like with the Midnight Devils, it's always kind of an extension. And it's an extension of where we've come. And the makeup and the clothes and stuff have always been evolving and changing over the years. And with it, it gets more and more extreme and more outrageous. And the lingerie and the skirts and the wings. And it just is over the top. And some days I think to myself, how crazy can we get? But there's really the cool thing about the Midnight Devils is there is that freedom. And we don't have a limit. And it's anything you want, anything you can think of is on the table. And so with the Japanese style bands like X Japan, man, just the way they look, just so cool. I'll say I love the Crew too, but only those first couple albums I thought were like the real diehard when they were real honest and real from the heart, and they hadn't become this bloated stadium band, which they kind of have become today. And I feel that they've lost the charm of what brought people to Motley Crue, which was Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil, Girls, Girls, Girls. Man, that stuff is awesome, but they're not that band anymore. But there's all these bands coming up that are filling in those gaps. And I think we're one of those bands that's kind of taking cues from what they did back in the 80s, the 70s, and we're applying it to the 2000s now, 2020s.
Now, I got to ask, Sniper's makeup looks very similar to a beard to me.
What the hell did you just say?
I think he needs to work on his makeup a little bit.
And people ask that all the time. They go, well, two of you guys have makeup and one of you don't. Why is that? I go, it's because that's what he wants. It's really nothing else. Like he just doesn't want to shave. And I go, I can't blame you for that, man. Like that's the cool thing is that there is no limitations. There's no like rules or set curriculum or you got to look like this. You got to dress like this. You got to sound like this. No, that's out. We're the freedom of expression, the freedom to be whoever you want to be without criticism from anybody else. And that applies to the guys in the band, to our fans, to the people in the audience. Like we are here to have a good time, no matter what. At the bottom of the line, the end of the day, we're here to have a good time, no matter what you look like, no matter what race, no matter what sex. It's all about just that great feeling and that great ass shaking boogie woogie rock and roll type of thing that comes along with the Midnight Devils.
Now, you've mentioned kind of a throwback to the 80s. Things have changed a lot since then. And things like environmental standards, there's a lot more stricter regulations on chemicals. So are you guys able to get enough hairspray for the entire tour?
It's difficult, but we've worked out a thing where you just stop washing your hair. That's really that. Especially when we were in Europe, like we did 30 days in Europe with Enough's Enough in December, 10 countries, our first trip overseas. And all you had was like a backpack of clothes. 30 days, you only got about enough clothes to last a week. And so like we got to wash our clothes one time. And after that, it was you're just on your own. It is whatever. Like, we got to make it work. And at the same time, we're in a rock band. Who really cares if we smell? We're supposed to smell. That's part of it. So with air, all we do is I just put it in and I just leave it. I throw a hat on and we spike it up and you just go day in, day out. All 30 days. I'll figure out get home.
Nice. Or you could do the punk rock thing. I remember everybody was trying to get that mohawk back in the day, and it was like, use Elmer's glue. That'll work. So that's what people did. And it works perfectly.
We use some sort of it's a hair gel now, but it's a spray-in hair gel that just puts it up and it just holds it for as long as you want.
So you've mentioned already you guys did your sophomore album, Never Beg For It, with Chip. Dude, what was he like in the studio? Because he's, I've seen Enough's Enough several times. He's a party guy. He always has the glasses on. He always looks the same. What was the deal in the studio? Was it different?
It wasn't any different. I'm telling you, like you walk into his house and he lives in Blue Island, Illinois, this kind of suburb of Chicago. And it's like velvet couches, velour on the walls, Enough's Enough peace signs everywhere. This giant glass coffee table, which we all know what goes on the coffee table, right? But he'll just sit there and smoke joint after joint. And we just talk and we have a blast. And I was nervous going in because I'm like, man, we're going to spend a lot of up close and personal time with Chip. And I don't know him that well, but we became such great friends. And I have so much respect for what he's done and the way that he looks at the music industry, the way that he writes songs, the way that he produced this record, I thought really brought out the best, and it gave that power pop sound. Like we weren't a power pop Chicago band, but having Chip on board kind of brought that sound out. And I'm so when we were listening back to the tracks, I go, man, it sounds like REO Speedwagon. Like you can hear Cheap Trick in there, you can hear Enough's Enough. This is so cool. Nobody else sounds like this because that's like a Midwest thing.
Yeah, it sounds killer. I mean, the tone of the guitar, especially, I think Sniper's tone is really killer on the album, and the leads sound great. I mean, Chip did a great job. I mean, you guys played really well, but it comes across big. The drums sound big. It has that production where, exactly. When I heard it, I'm like, okay, this isn't just glam metal. This definitely has that flavoring of these guys have been in punk bands. These guys know power pop. They know how to write, catchy choruses.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we went in. We went in with 10 songs. We brought the demos to Chip, and he didn't change a whole lot about the songs. He made them better, and he rounded off the edges and said, do this, change this. And the songs kind of just shined a little bit more after he was done. And once we had those tracks done, I mean, we recorded it in his house. It wasn't a studio. It was his house. And we took the tracks to Chris Nyman's at Stonecutter Studios in Chicago, and he was the guy that mixed and mastered Kiss's Revenge record. So I was immediately on board, and he brought that sound to just this next level. And if you put our first album, which was done by ourselves in Omaha in the studio there, next to Never Beg For It, our second album, they sound so different. You can definitely tell, like, we went with some guys that knew what they were doing.
Right. Yeah. You can hear the growth for sure.
Are you the primary songwriter, or is it more of a
for the most part, yes. I write most of the lyrics. Sniper does most of the music. We call him kind of the musical director, and he's the guy that kind of holds us all responsible on stage and off to bring our best. And Sniper's going to bring his best every single night. And so you have to at least keep up with him, or else you're going to get an earful at the end of the show. But he'll write most of the songs. I'll write most of the lyrics because I'm doing the singing. And I really do think that there's like this connect between the singer and the audience. And the singer has to completely believe what he's saying. It has to be from the heart, a truthful thing. And it connects with the audience. And the audience goes, oh, I get it. That guy's telling me a story. It's like a true thing that happened, and it's from the heart and it's real. There's that magic there.
The storytelling was one thing I really appreciated, because that's something I would do in my songs, that if it might have been an abstract story, but it's telling you something you could follow along. Mm-hmm. And so listening to, Pink Halo, of course, that video, she's buying 2 kilos of glitter
cocaine. Yeah. I got one right over here.
That's got to be really expensive these days.
The funny thing is that I had this idea, and I was writing the script. I go, oh, glitter kilos of cocaine. It's so brilliant. Okay, now how do we make that? And so you had to look up, how do you make a fake kilo of cocaine, in the tape and the white and everything. But it turned out really good.
Yeah, that didn't come up on any government watch list or anything like that once you search that.
And my parents were like, are you guys doing drugs in your video? And I go, no, it's glitter. It's a joke.
Glitter.
The cool thing about this band is that we don't take it so so super seriously.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be rock and roll. It's supposed to be a party.
Exactly.
And
that was our, Robert mentioned we were doing this coming out of the 90s. And at that point in time, if you remember, it was like everything was so serious. And we were the only band, or one of the only bands in Atlanta at the time, that were taking it back to, look, can we just have fun on stage and just be stupid, silly sometimes?
Yep. And it's like, there's this movie out that Dave Grohl does. And we took a lot of that inspiration from what the Foo Fighters did coming out of like Nirvana, which was so grunge and so sad and so dark and deep. And I wasn't into it. But the Foo Fighters came out with that first record and that second record, and it was funny and it was silly. That was awesome. So we took that kind of idea and really ran with it. And in this video that Dave Grohl does, he's talking to Brian Johnson from AC/DC, and he goes, well, when you're around your guys in your band, inevitably it comes to this point where you just laugh so hard that you can't do anything else. You can't breathe. You can't do anything. It's just the guys in the band laughing so hard at stupid jokes. And I go, I know exactly what he's talking about. I've been there. Like, that's what it is. The three of us get together and it's just like a riot. And we just can't help but like fall over laughing the entire time. So it really makes the dynamic and the chemistry within this band is so cool and so much fun.
So you mentioned the tour in Europe, and I have to ask because, again, we've sort of been there. I haven't done a tour in Europe. We definitely did the States. But tell me about any Spinal Tap moments that you might have had, because every band has them where you're like, oh my God, this could have been in Spinal Tap.
The whole thing was a Spinal Tap. I'm telling you, like, we rode with Enough for the first like 2 weeks. We rode with them in this van, and we were all sitting there, and the shows are going good. Our first show, we touched down HRH, the big festival, Hard Rock Hell, 500 people. And I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, this is our first time in Europe, 500 people. The next night we go to Lemmy's hometown, which is Stoke-on-Trent. And we go up and there's 15 people, 30 people. There's no heat in the building, right? So we're just freezing on stage. I go, okay, reality is set back in now. And we do the tour through the UK, and it's great. Every show is just better than the next. We're seeing all these historic places. But our agent routed us into Ireland, and we couldn't get a hold of like the promoter or the opening acts. So we had to take a ferry, right? So there's all these new rules and laws and regulations, the customs, border patrol. You have to have manifest of all your gear. And this is a nightmare going into it. We finally get on the last ferry going into Ireland. We're going to make the show. We've been traveling 24 hours. We get on the ferry. The ferry's rocking back and forth, but we make it, right? I'm like, okay, we're going to play in Ireland, our debut in Dublin, Ireland. We touch down, driving up to the custom things, and the guy at the border goes, what is your business in Ireland? And our driver goes, oh, I got 2 American bands back here. We're headed to a show. We're playing right down the road. It's a mile away. And the guy looks in the back, and he sees 9 long-haired guys in the back, Chip's sitting in the front. He goes, you're going to want to pull the van over. Oh. And so we're like, oh. And next thing you know, they got the dogs out. We're like detained in an Irish a holding tank. They're searching the vehicle. They got us all spread out on the wall. And I'm like, this is it. I'm going to have to call my parents from an Irish prison and say that. I'm arrested with my friend Chip. And we got away. Everything went fine, but we didn't make the show. So Ireland, like Dublin, we didn't make the show, but the story was so incredible. I mean, they were just like that the whole time. We went to Amsterdam with Chip, and that was maybe the happiest I've ever seen him in his life.
I was going to say, that sounds really dangerous. That may be the point where you don't make the show.
And we had the night off in Amsterdam.
Oh, okay, so there we go.
I didn't realize that Chip was a local celebrity in Amsterdam. He's like the mayor, right? You're walking down, people are saying hi. He's got his picture on the wall at the greenhouse. At the coffee shop. And so we didn't venture out much past the greenhouse coffee shop. Nothing much happened.
So I want to talk about some other bands that you've played with. I assume there might be some stories. You've played with the Choir Boys. You played with Pretty Boy Floyd. We talked. Bullet Boys, Enough's Enough, Sponge. But I got to know, you played with Malmsteen.
Yeah, yes.
Any diva moments?
Well, the whole thing was the diva moment. And I'll preface it by saying, I've heard that he's like this to every band. And we actually got off really easy. I think he thought we were pretty cool and he enjoyed our set. When we first met him, he came up and said hi. And we didn't think anything of it. We're like, oh, that's cool. That's Yngwie. And they're like, he never says hi to anybody. We're like, what? But he said hi, and then he promptly kicked everybody out of the venue into the pouring rain so that he could sound check with nobody watching. Right? And so he had this
Wait a minute. Are you sure that was Malmsteen? Because we had the same exact story with Mr. Bret Michaels.
Kicked us out into the rain.
Into the rain. Made us stand in the rain while he sound checked, because Mr. Michaels does not like anyone when he's sound checking.
He did, and we had to get dressed we had to put on all of our makeup in our van prior to sound check even happening because we couldn't get in on stage until the doors opened. So basically it's like we stood in the rain, this sucks. We're standing by his Ferrari going, this really sucks. Like looking at his red Ferrari, just like, man, he must be having a blast back there. And we get up on stage, they open the doors and they're like, okay, you guys are on. I'm like, whoa.
It's dripping wet.
The thing with Yngwie is he's really good and he still puts asses in the seats.
He does.
So I'll give credit where credit is due. He was awesome. Bars were packed. The shows were great. And I mean, besides it kind of being difficult on the opening acts, they were good shows.
So besides Enough's Enough, who's the coolest band that you played with? Like a classic band.
It becomes different because we become friends with these guys, and I have different memories of like say Pretty Boy Floyd. We've become such great friends with them that it's just like seeing your brother that you haven't seen for a few weeks. But then you get into the same trouble, and so like we would go out to the strip clubs with Pretty Boy Floyd, with Chip. Like we'd do all these things with the Choir Boys. They had just gotten rid of their singer when we joined the tour, and so they were really down and out. And it was kind of I felt it was our job to just be there and be friends and be like, look, I love what you guys are doing, and I love that you're giving the finger to everybody else who said, oh, if they fire Spike, they're not the Choir Boys. And they said, no, you know what? No, it's not going to be like that. We're going out on our own. And I thought that was the most punk rock, the most rock and roll thing. And I've never laughed so hard on any tour than I did with the Choir Boys.
And talk about a band that just keeps going. They never really got their due because of when they came out, right? It was just, they were an in-betweener. In between the 80s and the 90s, they never had that big hit that they deserved, really.
And I'll tell you the one really shining moment I have is we did the whole tours 2 weeks across the country, man. It was tough. We were driving every night, driving every day, staying in hotels. And we get to LA, the big finish is at the Whiskey, right? And the Whiskey is notorious for just being so hard on opening acts. And it's like, you got to pay to play. Well, we were on the tour, so we weren't paying to play. And they go, all right, fine. We'll put you guys on at 5 o'clock. The doors are also at 5.
Oh, geez.
And I'm so mad, and I freaked out. And I go, I just need somebody to stand up for us. And the Choir Boys actually went in and they stood up to the people at the Whiskey, to our agency, and said, these guys busted their asses. We don't want them going on first. We still went on first. But they did. They went the extra mile and stood up for us and had our backs. And I'll tell you, that's the coolest feeling ever.
That's cool. Yeah, I played the Whiskey once, and we did pay. We had to pay.
Yeah. It's terrible. And we've done it 4 times now. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm kind of over it. We did it and we experienced it. But I don't want to be involved in that stuff that all it does is hurt bands and hurt rock and roll.
Yeah, it's like you do it because you want to play the Whiskey. But then, like you said, you do it once, you do it a second time, then it's like, wait a minute, this isn't how it works. This isn't the way it's supposed to go.
You're paying to take a picture of your band's name on the marquee. That's what you're paying all that money for.
Yeah. So in May, you guys are starting to do this month-long tour with Japanese metal giants Loudness. How's that come to be?
That has actually been on our schedule for years now. Weird enough, when COVID hit was when we signed up for the Loudness tour. It was way back then, and they just had visa problems. They had COVID kind of shut the world down. It was just all these problems, and then it finally came up that they're going to make it to the States, and we're like, oh man, this is really going to happen.
Sorry, that was going to be my next question. Is this really going to happen? Because we had tickets to see Loudness last year. And we have the same tickets now for this year. What do you think?
They've assured me that.
Okay.
And that's just my booking agent Chuck assured me that they got their visas and everything taken care of. Now that's management, so take it with that whatever salt that you want to take it.
Well, they're supposed to be on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I think, just prior to that thing starting, which, by the way, you guys should be on that. I don't know why you're not. We need to get you on it.
It's a tough thing, the Monsters of Rock cruise, because it's like who you know. And that's really like the champion, what I'm here to champion, I guess, is my lot here is like, it's all the bands that are coming out. There's so many great new hardworking bands that are not getting a chance or not getting the recognition, not getting just like a little bit of the pie, you know. And we got to work so hard for every step forward is just a grinding. We just got to walk that mountain. And especially with Monsters of Rock cruise, it's like, who do you know? Who's the guy? And are you friends with the guy? Same with the Whiskey, same with all these places. These gatekeepers are really the ones I think that kind of hold back the music and hold back our whole music community. It's these certain guys, you know, and I want to break that down and be like, look, who's going to follow Motley Crue? Who's going to follow Def Leppard? Who's going to follow these bands when they decide to give it up if nobody gives the opening acts a chance, or they have to pay thousands of dollars to be on these tours? Like, nobody's really doing anything about it. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, well, we are. Amen, brother. I hear you. And yeah, this has been a problem for it's really been 20 years that this has been a big issue, especially when there's no label support. There's none of the stuff that people remember from the past. It's not there anymore. You got to do it yourself now.
And it's really close to my heart, because it's like you go out on tour for 30 days and then you got to come home and work every single day to pay off the debts that you raised from the tour. You know, you're like not getting paid. But the tours progress the band, and the tours put the band in front of more people. And you end up doing a lot of really good stuff on the road. But financially, it's so hard to come back and to just keep doing it and to put it out of your mind and be like, okay, we got to spend $1,000 here. Okay, we got to spend $1,000 here. That it's tough. We're very blessed with amazing fans and amazing support that they understand it and they get it, and they'll buy our records and buy our stuff because they know it goes to help fund the tour.
Well, man, it's been a blast talking to you. We are looking forward to seeing you guys on May the 9th.
We will be there.
We will be there. I'm hoping Loudness will be there. Hoping you guys will be there.
And then since it's May, it's going to be hot here. I've got a great automotive AC repair shop that's like 2 blocks from where we live.
Oh.
So just swing by. We'll drop it off. I'll take you to the show, and then you come back and you pick
Perfect.
up the bus, and it's going to be freezing cold AC. I promise.
And the AC works. It just needs a little love.
Yeah,
you know?
no, these guys are great. They've worked on many vehicles of mine, and they're magic. So yeah, we'll make it happen.
I want to play a song out on the show. What song should we play? What do you want to do?
My favorite is Highway 69. I love it. It's kind of like been our one kind of smash single. If you could say we have a smash single, that's the one that everybody seems to just go crazy for. And I'm so proud of that song.
That was the first one I listened to.
Yeah. And the video is so good. It's out on YouTube now. It was designed. I wrote the script, but our art designer, Livy, did all the artwork for it. And our director, Aaron Gum, put it together. I'm just like, I go, that's it. We can do whatever we want now. We're like comic book characters. So I love it. I love the Highway 69.
Well, Sam, we are happy to support the Midnight Devils. Go ahead and plug away so that everybody listening knows how to get your stuff, how to find out about you, how to find out when you're coming to their town.
It's super easy, and we're very active on all of our social media accounts. So jump on, we're on Instagram, The Midnight Devils. Our website is themidnightdevils.com. And like I said, our merch shop's on there. All of our t-shirts, CDs, I'm shipping them from right here all over the world. So it's not like a big company. It's me doing it right here in Nebraska to you. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on every of all the streaming platforms. We're kind of trying to be everywhere. And that's really the thing is I got nothing but time. I love this band. I love this music. And so we're going to put it out there as much as we possibly can.
And check out the videos on YouTube. They're great. I can tell you put a lot of effort into that, and you had a lot of fun making those, and that shows. So it's a nice throwback to actually go and watch videos.
Thank you.
And for me, it's always about, well, okay, they have a video, but how are they live? You guys got a lot of live stuff posted. Mm-hmm. I mentioned it at the very start. What got me was you get people involved. You bring them in. You take everything you learned from KISS, and you brought it in, and you now manifest that as the Midnight Devils, and I love it, man. And we are here to support you, and thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a blast talking to you. I really do appreciate it.
Ain't looking back while your city burns. You gotta let that motherfucker burn. Rolling down that highway 69. It's time to step up and leave all that bullshit behind. She's our heel, so just shut up and drive. Keep me coming back for more on that highway 69. to let go. Rising from the ashes, we are indestructible. Ain't looking back while your mountains fall. The fucking harder they fall, the fucking harder they fall. Rolling down